Greetings, greetings. I got too much sun coming in. Yep, this is a live talk, something I haven't done in a long time, and I'm going to do it now. I hope everything is well. I'm just trying this out to see how things are going to go. Peace and blessings, everybody. Hope everybody is doing well out there. Let's see who's going to come in. Having could be a trivia question. When's the last time I did a card cam? Welcome to the live, everybody. Welcome to the live. It's 6:39. It's that time, and I am stationary and thought I would do a live with you all. If you're coming in, make sure you hit that thumb. Make sure you hit all of that. Sister Donna Pink would come in. Let's see who else is there. AC Low, thank you for coming in. I got to put on my glasses to see everybody. There we go. That's a whole lot better. Sister Latoya Moore, how you doing? Thank you for coming in. This is a live car cam. Chiruta, how you doing? So, as you all know, I was a little bit under the weather. 100% back. I'm back now. And I won't be coming on live tonight. I am not able to be back home in time to come on in my room. So I said, you know what? Let me do a car cam, something I haven't done in a while. And let's just do some talking. Every now and then I like doing just a little political talk. And we're going to do it. We're going to do that tonight. Yeah, we're going to do that right now. So if you all are coming in, you're going to get a treat because car cams is really how I got started. If you can hear me okay, give me a thumbs up. If my volume is okay, all of that, give me something. Let me know I'm okay. All right? All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Let's talk. I want to talk about some politics, and I got my, it's not so much politics as much as it is information that's going on out there in the world where we constantly are seeing wars and rumors of wars. We've got nation against nation. We've got pestilence. As you know, COVID, I'm a witness, is still there. It's still there. I would tell you, I've had colds that were worse than this strand that I had, but I knew to test myself because I had a cough and a mild fever of about 100. So I went to get tested. I tested myself, home kit, and for a day and a half at most. Come Thursday, I was down Tuesday. Thursday morning, I was back. But I still tested positive, although I was 100%. And then Friday, I got a clear test. But I still did not want to go to Chicago because I wanted it to be 24 hours of being clear. And of course, Sabbath morning, I tested myself again and I got another clear. And then what happened was I stayed home from the class. I wanted to make sure when you love people, you just kind of stay away because you don't know where other people are at. But I want to talk about these things that are going on in the world that people, when you don't know what's happening in the scripture, you don't understand end time prophecy, you get nervous. People get nervous because there's Russia fighting Ukraine. And of course, there's probably YouTube videos out there that's saying it's going down. It's going down. What does that mean? It means nothing, right? That's what it means. Sister Antoinette, how you doing? How you doing, my sister? I hope everything is good with you. Sister Antoinette is up in Cleveland, Ohio. Very, very good sister up there. Thank you so much, Sister Antoinette. I still have my cup, still drinking out of my cup. Thank you very much. And I want to get back up to Cleveland because I heard you all got a new class, a new building. Shout out to you all. Um, but people get nervous when they don't know what's happening. People get scared when they start seeing forest fires and volcanoes, and you got the Russian-Ukraine war going on, and people want to know what's going on. It's going down. What does that mean? What does that have to do with prophecy? Well, you know what, brothers and sisters? Pretty much nothing. Nothing. Because, as I will always say, the next big thing to happen is the abomination of the desolation spoken by Daniel. That's when the third temple is built and the Romeo Christianity is placed inside of their temple. And you're going to have 3.5 years of tribulation. And until then, that's what's going to happen. That's what's happening out there. All right. I'm typing in some stuff in my Google search. Who does the territory of Jerusalem belong to? And I'll tell you why I'm typing that. I'll tell you why I'm typing that in a minute. And I'll tell you what YouTube just gave me. But anyway, I remember in 2018, there might have been people that even called me a false prophet because I told them that 2019 is not the 400-year prophecy. And it already happened. And then that was in 2018. When 2019 came around, nothing happened. And then they said, well, it's going to be in 2020. And in 2020, nothing happened. We had COVID happen. That's what happened. And all that to say is because the 400-year doctrine that is in America and we're going someplace does not fit prophecy. Doesn't fit prophecy. It already happened, and it doesn't fit prophecy of what's getting ready to go down in sequential order. It's out of sync. It already happened. One is because it already happened, okay? So here we are in 2023, and I told people just back then, I would say, you know what? 2020 is going to happen, 2021, 2022, and next thing you know, we're going to be in 2023. And I remember telling people that, and I said, and I hope some of you all would even just send an email to say, you know what, Pastor Johnson, we were wrong. And you know what? It's not about being right or wrong. It's that if you have been taught something, or if you believe something, or you're reading the Bible a certain way, and things don't come clear, then you need to say, wow, you know what? I called the brother a false prophet and I was wrong, but I want to know the truth. And let's sit down and talk about it. That's all, talk about it. Because when you talk about it, you're seeking for an answer. It's not about right and wrong. It's about getting the answer. Daniel did not understand what he was reading from Jeremiah. So he prayed. He says, I thought the time should have been up. And my understanding of what I read is not what's going on. So the man prayed, and the Lord sent Gabriel to give him skill and understanding. And that's all it is, brothers and sisters. But no, I don't expect to get calls from people because their intentions is not trying to get you out of the lake of fire. Their intentions is not to get you into the kingdom that's going to be here on the earth. Mine is. And our brothers and sisters in the Israel of God, and we're not saying we're the only ones. That's not the case at all. Shout out to the brothers and sisters over there in the house of Jacob. And there's others. I don't need to start getting into name calling. But my issue is there's a lot of people that understand this, to know better that 400 years was not in August of 2019. So take the pride off and call up, send an email and say, Pastor, let's sit down and get this thing right. I need to understand this. Brothers and sisters, the next big thing that's going to happen is the abomination of desolation spoken by Daniel the prophet. And if you don't understand it, go to the Israel of God's website. Go to my channel. Go to any of the other teachers out there. Come on in my room. Balm of Gilead. Stick to the script. Look at the ones that are on this channel. And just look up. Just go to YouTube and put in IOG Abomination of Desolation. Get the lesson and look at it and get understanding. And that's all it is. So let's talk about politics and where is that taking us to? Where that's taking us to is this, brothers and sisters. When you look at the situation in Jerusalem, Jerusalem is a territory that when Palestine, it was called Palestine, it was under British rule, but during the Balfour Declaration, the Rothschilds was able to get America into the war with the agreement with the Zionist movement that we will get Britain to give you the land or share the territory with you, and give us a moment to speak to Britain. They went to Britain, and Britain was getting ready to go into peace talks with Germany. But the Rothschilds told them, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't go in there and talk to them. We will get you America in at the war. And you don't want to go down as losing against Germany. So they went to President Woodrow Wilson, who was the president of the United States at that time, and convinced him that Germany was doing heinous crimes. And I'm sure there was no, how can I say it? Like they have now, the Geneva Convention, the agreement that when you take somebody, you don't torture people, you don't do this, you don't do that, you don't use chemicals. All of those warfare agreements of how you engage in war, and they're going to be casualty in war, but when people give up, you won't go in and start killing civilians, right? But what happened, brothers and sisters, it started to happen. And they convinced America, if you don't jump into this war against Germany going across Europe, you're going to be next. And although they were going to sit down and talk, they talked Britain into just waiting. And they did. And they brought America in, and they won against Germany and helped Britain win. As an agreement, Britain gave the Jewish people territory and split it with Palestine. The issue is, it's been war there ever since. There's never been peace in the Middle East since then. Hasn't happened. It's not going to happen. And the issue is because Israel has more supporters and Palestine has the Islamic world. But a lot of money is going in to help those that are occupying Israel now. The issue is Jerusalem. So they made Tel Aviv the capital. However, brothers and sisters, President Donald Trump put an embassy in the little tip part of Jerusalem on the west end that is in occupied Israel. That's a little bitty slither of a part. So if Jerusalem is running east and west, and Israel mainly runs north and south, this little section here belongs to Israel. The rest of it is in unoccupied territory, or territory mainly belonging to the Palestinians. But here's the issue. Jerusalem as a territory really doesn't belong to anybody. So the agreement is you got the dome. So those of the Islam world go there and do their thing on the Ramadan, and then you got the Jews that go there on the holidays that they observe. And now you got an issue because Israel is, as a state, is taking control. They must take control. They have to take control prophetically so they can build the temple. And the temple will be built in Jerusalem, the third temple. And some people call it the third or whatever you want to call it, but the temple is going to be built. Remember in the prophets and in the book of Revelations, they said, build the temple, measure it, but the part that's on the outside of the courts, don't measure that, because I'm going to give it to the Gentiles to trodden it down for 42 months, 3.5 years, a time, times and a half a time. It's prophecy, brothers and sisters. It has to happen. So Palestine is getting ready to get pushed out. It's happening year by year by year by year by year. And it's going to intensify in the months and the years to come because the temple has to be built. Some people say, oh, is that prophecy? No, that's Bible. I'm not a prophet. I'm only telling you what the Bible says. Okay? It's inevitable that they're going to build that temple. And they can't go over into Palestine and just build it. They need to have and control the land. I did a search. Incidentally, I'm going to be on just for a little bit longer because I won't be coming on with Come On in My Room. But I'm going to cut off so some of y'all can go over there and watch that in about 15, 20 minutes or so. Listen to this. And here's the question I put into to the search. Who does the territory of Jerusalem belong to? Listen to what it said. The question of who Jerusalem belongs to is a complex and highly debated issue that has been at the center of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict for many decades. Currently, Israel claims sovereignty over the entire city of Jerusalem as its capital, while Palestinians also claim East Jerusalem as the capital of a future Palestinian state. Because as I told you, that little west end part is inside occupied Israeli territory. Listen to this. The international community, however, does not recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital and consider the city's final status to be subject to negotiations between Israel and the Palestinians. And this is why Israel is doing a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time, and a little bit at a time, and a little bit at a time. But it doesn't matter, brothers and sisters, what the international community says. Although it says here in the search that they don't recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital and consider it the city's final. I'm sorry, let me go back and read that. The international community, however, does not recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital and consider the city's final status to be subject to negotiations between Israel and the Palestinians. That held true until Donald Trump went over there and did a groundbreaking ceremony and put the embassy right there in Jerusalem. And the Palestinians started to throw rocks and have fits, and the world kept saying, well, why are they doing that? That little section belongs in Israeli territory. Because Palestine, the Palestinians know. They see the handwriting on the wall. Let me continue to read this. In 1980, Israel passed the Jerusalem Law, which declared Jerusalem to be the undivided capital of Israel. However, this move was not recognized by the international community, and many countries maintained their embassies in Tel Aviv rather than Jerusalem, except Donald Trump, when he went over and said, we'll put our embassy, even though the international people don't recognize it, we will recognize it and put our embassy there. Everybody else's embassy is still in Tel Aviv. And the Palestinians said, wait a minute, the moment one embassy comes up, another one and another one. But brothers and sisters, it's inevitable. It's got to go down, because the abomination of the desolation will be placed in that temple when it is built. Okay? Listen to this. In summary, the question of who Jerusalem belongs to is a highly contentious issue with no clear answer, and it remains a significant obstacle to achieving a lasting peace between Israel and the Palestinians. Let me go here and just and I'm telling you because when you understand what's happening, when you understand the Bible, you understand what's going down. And when you understand what's going down, you say, okay, wow, this has got to happen. So here's, let me just read this part to you. It says contextually, I'm sorry, we're good. Let me fix up my, and I'm not driving, by the way, but it came down. Okay. So this is what it says, and I think this is good information right here. Contextually, the history of Jerusalem is deeply intertwined with the narratives of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Jerusalem is considered a holy city by all three Abraham religions, and its significance is reflected in the religious culture and political history of the region. Why they call it Abrahamic religions? Because Judaism, as we know it today, not Hebrews, we're not talking about people of the book. I'm talking about the Jewish people, as well as Christianity and Islamic. All three of these major religions, because those are your three major religions, they look at Jerusalem as significance in culture, religious, and political power. So Jerusalem was under the control of the Ottoman Empire, that's Britain, from the early 16th century until the end of World War I, when it was incorporated into the British Mandate of Palestine, because that's all it was at the time. It was just Palestine. Following the United Nations Partition Plan in 1947, which proposed the creation of separate Jewish and Arab states in Palestine, Jerusalem was intended to be an international city under United Nations administration. However, the plan was rejected by both sides, and a war broke out between the newly established state of Israel and neighboring Arab states. In 1948, after the war, Jerusalem was divided into two parts. Check this out. West Jerusalem, which was under Israeli control, and East Jerusalem, which was under Jordanian control. And let me just say, the west portion is a very, very small tip. Most of Jerusalem that has what they consider to be the biblical landmarks was under the Jordanian control, Palestinian, the Arabs. So when you go visit some of the biblical landmarks that was in Jerusalem that you read in the Bible, they're not under Israeli control. Okay? So let me continue to read this. Israel captured East Jerusalem along with the West Bank in the 1967 war and annexed it in 1980 with the Jerusalem Law. The issue of Jerusalem's final status remains a major point of contention in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. While Israel maintains its claim of sovereignty over the entire city, Palestinians seek to establish their own independent state with East Jerusalem as its capital. The international community has generally supported a two-state solution to the conflict, with Jerusalem as the shared capital of both Israeli and a future Palestinian state. However, achieving a lasting peace agreement that satisfies both sides has proven elusive. Now, what does that have to do with the Bible? Brothers and sisters, that issue is not going to be resolved. It's going to be resolved by conflict. And that conflict is what's going to lead up to the temple being built, and how it's taken is going to be leading up to the conflict that leads you to Zechariah, the 14th chapter. And the nations came and Jerusalem was taken in. Let me read that real quick. In Zechariah, the 14th chapter. Because see, when you look at what's happening today and you understand, see, when you're not stuck on 400 years and Pastor Johnson, you wrong, you a false prophet because it's the 400 years. You so mad. Some people are so mad at the oppressor that you just want something to go down. Zechariah the 14th chapter. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, and thy spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee. For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle. When is that going to happen? Look at verse 1. Behold, the day of the Lord comes. When the Lord comes, that's when this is going to happen. This is when it's going to go down. It's when it's going to happen. And it's going to happen. And it's going to go down. Why? Because the Lord is going to come. Oh, you're not going to heaven. He's coming here. And you see, when you understand this stuff, and you're trying to show people, but when you try to show people, you show scriptures, and people are so angry at of slavery and so upset, and they want to be identified with something so much, they forget the part where the Lord said, I will cause your children to go into slavery. I will cause another to sleep with your wife. And there's nothing that you can do but have anger in your eyes. The question is why? Because our forefathers refused. They were disobedient, and no matter what you gave them to remind them, they didn't keep the Lord's covenant agreement. But prophecy is being fulfilled. So when you watch the news and watch what's happening, you understand. You understand really what's going on. Russia, that little thing over there with the Ukraine, I can't say it's little. I'm not minimizing the war of what's happening. I'm just telling you, it's just, what part does it have to do with the Bible? In Matthew the 24th chapter, here it is. I'm going to read it to you. What does that little war over there mean? What does it have to do with prophecy? Here it is, right here. And I'm going to read it in Matthew, the 24th chapter, verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. But Pastor Johnson, maybe that's one of the plagues. You know, maybe you were affected by one of the plagues. Maybe when COVID came, it's one of the plagues. Well, let's read in verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in divers places. All these are just the beginning of sorrows. That's all it is, brothers and sisters. It's just the beginning. Well, when is it going to go down? When is it going to happen? Verse 15 tells you, when ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. That's when it's going to go down. That's when you need to be learning about the wilderness right now. Matter of fact, you need to be preparing yourself that you could be worthy enough that when the Lord sends his angels and give us that direction, that it's okay for you to get there. Because it says nobody that errs will get to that wilderness. And brothers and sisters, that's just the facts and the way things are and what it's going to be and how things are going down. So that being said, I won't be there to be online tonight because I'm at a session with my daughter, and I'm here waiting on her tonight, and I'm not able to get home in time to come on in my room. But I don't want to keep you all from that, but I want to do this little car cam, and I'll be on tomorrow night, ready to get this thing started and kicked off again. Again, I am fine. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for keeping us on your mind, but I'm good. We have baptism this weekend, and we'll give you more about that on tomorrow night. That being said, brothers and sisters, I'm going to get out of here. Peace and blessings to you. I hope that we gave you something of edification tonight. Peace to all of you all, and we will talk to you tomorrow night. Peace and blessings.